Seeing none, let's move to the next item is District Goals Report, graduation and matriculation data.
Kristen?
I'd like to invite Beth Augustine, Director of Student Services, up to present out on 2 more performance indicators. Last board meeting, we presented out on attendance and engagement, and tonight will be graduation and matriculation.
Great. Good evening. Thanks for having me here. So I think a lot of positive, good news with graduation rate. We had an increase in our 5th-year cohort from the class of 2015 from 92.9 to 94.2. That's actually higher than what I projected. I was hoping to move up to 93.1, but we had a couple of students return and finish. So overall, that cohort showed an increase.
That's the adjusted number in the parentheses, correct, Beth?
Correct, under 2015.
So those are kids that graduated after the July 1st?
Correct.
But
After
finished
the
their
Jul-
diploma requirements and are credited back then to that school, the school year they
Correct.
were supposed to graduate.
Correct. So they returned last school year through the credit recovery program and were able to earn their diploma. So the state allows us to adjust our cohort. So it's positive that students are coming back and earning their diploma. For the 2016 graduating class, we had an increase from the previous year to 93.9%. It's a little off from my projection. I was hoping for 95.2, but there are some reasons behind that. We did have 13 students return for the credit recovery program in summer school, return for both sessions. So we did have 13 students that didn't graduate in May but returned and were counted in our overall graduation rate, which is what helped us get to 93.9. For the class of 2016, we did have 8 students drop, and that's really what impacted our graduation rate. Unfortunately, 3 of them dropped in 2016, and that wasn't something that was projected, so that's why my numbers were a little off in what I was hoping for. I can say that I know who those students are, and there were many interventions put in place trying to keep them in school, trying to keep them motivated, and that's not to say at some point that they may not be at our door and try to return, and we'll welcome them in and still try to get them the opportunity, give them the opportunity to earn a diploma. Of those 8 students, 1 was a transfer student, 3 of them were special education students, and 1 of them entered a GED program, which according to the state does count against us. So the student did move on to, some kind of plan after high school, but unfortunately they count against us. Over the past 8 years, the average for our dropouts have been between 8 and 13. So we're on the lower end this year. So not that we want any student to drop out, but the fact that we're on the lower end, I think it's showing that our interventions that we have in place to try and account for every single student earning a diploma is there. We have 15 students that returned this year from the class of 2016. 6 of them are credit deficient. They were all regular education students. Originally, we had 3 students return to our credit recovery program. They were back in August and have been participating. But since you received this report, we had an additional student return, so we are now at 4. Some other good news, 1 student has already completed his credits, so he is already considered a graduate. And so now we are going to focus on those other 3 and still have hope that the other 2 will at some point decide to come back and finish their credits and still be included in that 5th-year cohort.
How long is that window, Beth?
They have the entire school year, so let's say a student wanted to come back second semester and were able to finish their credits by the end of the school year, we could count them in the 2016 5-year cohort. So that's why if a student does come back and is short a few credits and is really dedicated and willing to put in the effort, we open our doors and try to make that happen for them. We're flexible with their schedules. We use our credit recovery program. We have 2 really great teachers in there working with these students, and quite honestly, that program has really helped our overall graduation rate because we have more control of what's going on, the classes that they need. They've got support from teachers within our building. They're not completing programs outside of the school, so there's a more opportunity to monitor what they're doing. So the other number there is the 9 students that are special education students. 3 of those students received a certificate of attendance, and as you know, the state does not look at those students as actually graduating from here. And then we had 6 students return for transition student or services, and that number was a little higher than we had anticipated. For whatever reason, the parents decided to withhold their diploma and come back for transition services. So those 9 students in our overall graduation rate are having an impact, even though they may have earned their diploma, and they did earn their diploma, they're coming back for transition services. But the good news is, if you take those 9 students out that really have completed their requirements here, our overall graduation rate really is 96.2, which is, just I think a testament to all the efforts that everyone's putting forth in the building to ensure that every student is graduating from Riverside Brookfield High School.
Any questions for Beth on this side of the room? Mike, do you have any questions?
No.
How about on this side of the room?
We can do a page by page for her, because she's got,
Is she gonna-
there's more pages.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Next, go to the next page.
Go to
So,
the
for the last couple of years, I've been trying to project our graduation rate for the current class, and then the current the current senior class and the current junior class. And I've kind of laid out all of the areas that will impact our graduation rate. So for the class of 2017, we already have 2 students that are pursuing a GED, and 6 students have already dropped. We're still hopeful that they could still come back, realizing that it's not easy out there without a high school diploma, and if they return to RB, they would still be part of that cohort, and if they were to graduate, they would not count against our graduation rate. I've calculated that we have 10 students that we're most concerned about that are credit deficient, and then we have 2 possible certificate of attendance and possibly 8 students with transition services. So we have no students that have been expelled, so that's good news. So I'm kind of projecting, I hate to say worst case, but a 93.6 percent graduation rate for the class of 2017. And I say worst case because the hope is that those 10 students that are credit deficient, that we're going to take every effort to monitor their progress, to communicate with parents, to be consistent with our interventions, whether it's through the counseling office, the dean's office, support from teachers, and again, communicating with parents, because I think we really know what works with these at-risk students, and it's sometimes just being relentless and being on top of them and giving them the hope that if they work hard, they can make it through here. And then there's just a list of the continued things that we hope to do through student services in connection with the dean's office and monitoring academic progress and trying to keep our graduation rate as high as we possibly can.
Do you mind if I ask a couple questions about
Sure.
this one?
Let's
You
go.
want to go on
Any-
that side first?
Anybody on this side want to speak? All right, Tim.
On the second bullet point, what does that mean when they're enrolled in credit recovery for at least one period?
So we look at our current seniors that are behind in credits, and rather than have them come back in the summertime, which is sometimes very challenging to get them commit to do that, we'll have them enrolled in a credit recovery class during the school day with a teacher in there to monitor them, to help, especially if it's in math.
So can I just give an example? So
Yeah.
do you mind if I use English?
Yeah.
So if I failed junior English, am I enrolled in senior English and then in junior English in a credit recovery? Is that an example of what's going on?
Yes, that is
Okay.
possible.
And how many, in the credit recovery, if they were enrolled for a year, because you mentioned later on, the class of 2018 can go second semester. In a semester, can they make up one class, half a class, 2 classes? I mean, what?
It depends on the course, because the way that the program is set up is there are modules. So the student can go through the modules and test out. It depends how deficient they are in particular areas.
Okay.
And it depends how quickly or how slowly they work. I will tell you that it takes a great deal of time for the students to complete the math courses. That seems to be one of the biggest struggles.
Okay.
The nice thing is we do have a certified math teacher in the credit recovery several periods a day, so they're really able to work with those students one-on-one to provide them the support. Other alternatives, we used to use American School for credit recovery, which was an online program or a paper pencil where they would be doing the work independently, mailing the information back. There was a lot of lag time in getting the actual transcript. So here we have a lot of control over what the student is taking and ensuring that there's some credibility to the course that they're taking.
And then on the couple more bullets down, you said counselor interns facilitate groups. What kind of interns do we have that are counselors?
We have
I didn't
two.
even
We
know
have two
that.
counseling interns. One of them from Lewis University and one of them from DePaul University. And
Oh, so they're doing it as part of their classroom.
correct. This is their internship and their practicum.
Okay.
So they're here multiple.
Similar to student teaching.
Yeah.
Oh, is that something we have on a regular basis?
Yeah, we have
Every-
for the last couple of years, and we're fortunate to have 2 this year.
Sure.
So it's great.
And then on the last 2, the second and third from the bottom, credit deficient students for 2018 will have access to Apex in the second semester. Is there a reason you don't make it available for the whole year if they're behind all?
Well, we really try to support our seniors first.
Okay.
To ensure that they are
Oh, there's a
going.
limit in how many kids you can put in there.
Right,
credit
because we
recovery.
really want to give them the support while they're in there. We don't want the room to have so many students that the teacher can't support them, because they could be working on 5, 6, 7 different subjects.
Mhm.
So I think just to have control in the room. And then the class of 2018 will have access to summer school for both sessions.
Which we didn't used to do.
Correct. We did it last year and we did it the year before, and it's been very successful.
Okay.
Very successful.
And the last one where you're adding, you say English, math, and science to summer school, that's for the current freshmen and sophomores, right?
Correct.
We haven't done that? in
We
the
have
past?
done that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Well, you're going to continue to do
continue
those
to do
ones.
it, and trying to make a better effort in ensuring that those classes run. Just historically, summer school is a tough thing here, and
Right.
getting
Well, of
students to
course.
commit to it. So I think just making a better effort, communicating with parents, doing it earlier, really holding students accountable for attending summer school. And oftentimes we have transfer students that come in very credit deficient, and so the credit recovery program is really the only way that we're going to get them caught up
Okay.
in order to earn a diploma.
Thank you for that
Mhm.
explanation.
Anybody else? Thank you, Beth, very much. Appreciate
She's
it.
got another.
Matriculation.
Yep, she got
She's got
another
another
section.
page.
I have
All
more.
right.
She's got more.
I have more. So the next district goal is matriculation. So this year, 95.8% of our students moved on to, hopefully moving on to a 2-year, 4-year technical school or trade school, and it's broken down by class. You can see where our students are going in each of those areas. We had a larger number of students seeking employment this year, and I looked specifically at those students. Some of them I know were for financial reasons. There just wasn't the money to go on to a 2-year college right away, even with all the financial assistance that's available. Some of these students have some disabilities that going into the workforce is actually a good place for them, and especially if they've had some transition services where they have a connection to a job. It doesn't mean that they might not get some further education down the road. And then there were a couple of students that had family businesses, and so they were kind of jumping into that, whether they end up taking some courses in the future. But work was their choice. And I feel good in knowing that the counselors knew their plans and had conversations with them, so it just seemed like a better fit for them. And then Underneath, I've just highlighted the things that we continue to do in student services to support students with their post-secondary plans. I kind of feel what we're doing is working, and we're always looking for new ideas. But what I really see changing in the building is that the teachers and other departments and everyone is really on board with this idea of opening students' eyes to all the career choices out there. I feel like it's kind of becoming a school-wide goal. I know Kylie Greger is working with a committee focusing on careers. So between the applied arts classes, economics class, AP micro and macro, our CAP classes, students are being exposed to college planning, career researching, sort of building wide. So I really feel that this goal is being embraced by the entire school community in helping students think about their post-secondary plans.
Thanks, Beth.
And then just the last page, this was just sort of some fun facts that I'd never shared with you before. I thought it was very interesting. I think it'd be interesting to kind of track. But for the class of 2016, it's interesting that we had 1,437 transcripts sent from RB to colleges all over the country. The average range was between 1 transcript request to 20, and the average was 5. College Board recommends between 5 and 8, so it feels good that we're right there in the average range of what's expected. We had 90 college admission rep visits, which just really speaks to RB's reputation in the college admissions world. Reps want to come in here, they want to talk to our students. I feel when I first started here 13 years ago, it was somewhere between 30 and 40 reps that would come and visit. So now I always like when I get an email with a rep that we've never had before asking to come visit RB. We had 290 different schools across the country where our students applied. And then I just provided you with a list of the top 4 schools where our students are applying, where we have the most applications going.
Good job.
Any questions for Beth on matriculation on this side? On that side?
Thank you.
Thank you, great job, Beth.
Thank you.
Great analysis.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move right on to visitor statements. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its students in the business of the school district. There are 2 points in the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to raise questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and cannot be combined. Please note the Board of Education will not answer questions or engage in dialogue during visitors' comments. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 48 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. In addition, the Board of Education is interested in receiving suggestions and concerns from the members of the community. Any individual may make a suggestion or express a concern at the district or school or the school office. All suggestions and/or concerns will be referred to the appropriate level staff member or district administrator who is most able to respond in a timely manner. Each concern or suggestion shall be considered on its merit. An individual who is not satisfied after following the channels of authority may file a grievance under Board Policy 2:260, Uniform Grievance Procedure. Neither this policy nor the Uniform Grievance Procedure creates an independent right to a hearing before the board. For more details, please refer to Board Policy 2:230, Public Participation at the Board of Education Meetings and Petitions to the Board, and Board Policy 8:110, Public Suggestions and Concerns. So right now, does anybody on this side want to speak? Does anybody on this side want to speak? All right, seeing none, we'll move into the next item on our agenda. Any additional discussion items that we want to add to talk at the end of the meeting? We'll go on this side of the room. Mike, do you have any?
No.
Okay. And then on this side? Okay.